Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing a really simple bread recipe. My name is Lawrence and this is actually take 2 because the first take had far too many ums in. I've been reliably told by my girlfriend. So, this recipe should actually take very little equipment. And actually I'll tell you if there's, damn it, I've done it. Whether you need any other equipment. So really what we're going to need is a mixing bowl. Damn it, did it again. But not much else. And you don't need a set of scales. It's useful, but if you don't have them, don't worry too much. So what we're going to do, I put 500 grams of flour in my mixing bowl. And I'm just going to add the other ingredients now. Now, the other ingredients I need is active dry yeast. Make sure it's active dry rather than fresh. There are two different things. Salt and olive oil. And obviously our flour, like I explained. You'll also need some baking paper and some cling film as well. So, what we're going to do, we're going to start off, we're going to make a well in our flour. Ooh, got it myself now. Well in our flour. What I've got here is 9 grams of active dry yeast. Some recipes, what you have is they put it in warm water first. I'm actually skipping that step because you don't actually need to. And the water in Singapore is quite warm, so I'm just sticking it all in together to keep things simple. Stick that in there. A little bit at the bottom as well. Now, next the salt, couple of teaspoons. Make sure, don't skimp too much on the salt. So that's about two and a bit teaspoons of salt in there. Because if you don't, I've forgotten my salt more than once, and if you do, it tastes really weird. Now what we do, a glug of olive oil. It is about 2 or 3 tablespoons in there. So, and finally we have 330 ml of water. So, as we put the water in, we start to incorporate the flour as well. You'll see we're just mixing it there. Mixing it a bit more, and you'll see that it all starts to come together quite nicely. Now, if you don't have a measuring jug, you can use, I measured it out, this is a bog standard mug, it's about a mug's worth, rather than a cup. A cup is actually probably a little bit too small. A cup's 250 millilitres, whereas a mug is a bit more. But either way, it's 330 millilitres. See now, it's beginning to come together a little bit more now. Bringing everything together. Make sure all the flour in the bottom gets brought up. Now the reason I'm starting off with a bread recipe is because I'm currently residing in Singapore, and actually it's quite hard to get hold of good bread, especially as I'm doing this during the coronavirus period, and it's difficult to get out to certain places and buy your bread. So that's why I'm decided just to start making it. And actually it's such a simple recipe. It's so easy to do. The actual time it takes to make a recipe is not very long at all, but it just takes a bit of time just waiting around to rise. But you're sitting at home anyway, so what's the difference really if you're waiting for some bread to rise? So you'll see now that I've incorporated all of the flour together into one nice big lump. Don't worry if it feels a bit wet, because we're about to put it out onto our clean work surface. So make sure you have a little bit of extra flour. So this is the flour, bread flour. available at any supermarket. So just going to put this out on here. There we go. And then just roll it out. Yes, it's a little bit wet, but that won't matter too much because we're going to get some flour in it. We're going to start kneading it anyway. So now we just knead it together. There we go. Now, like I said, it's a little bit wet, this one. And you'll see that it's a bit wet on the bottom as well. So let's get a bit of flour in there. Just get it all out. Now, like I said, if it's a little bit, doesn't matter if it's a little bit wet, you can usually tell if it's a little bit dry, because if it's dry, it doesn't come together very well at all. And so you'll be in that mixing bowl for ages trying to get it all together, and it's not. And if that's the case, just add a little bit of water, just to bring it together a little bit, and then you can always, if it then becomes a bit wet, you can always add a little bit of flour afterwards. It doesn't make too much difference. A little bit of water, a little bit of flour, a little bit of water here, a little bit of flour there. Doesn't make any difference really at the end of the day. So you see now, I'm just kneading it. So what we want out of this dough now is for it to be nice and smooth. So you want it silky smooth when you've done this. And it's a good chance to, if you have any frustration of the day, good chance to take it out, give it a little punch, and it just brings everything together. And you want to keep going. If it starts to get sticky on your hands, like it is for me, make sure you add a little bit of flour and then keep going. There we go. Keep kneading. And we were making, my girlfriend and I are making schnitzel a few days ago. And with that you have to pulverise the meat. And so just give it a go, and she really got in there. I think she should she probably could start a career in boxing, I'm sure. Get a good punch. A very good way to take out frustration. Keep going on that, a bit over the top. So as I mentioned, that's Singapore, so all of the recommendations you should be able to find in any Singaporean supermarkets, and the recipes will be based on Singapore as well. So you should be able to find it in either cold storage or fair price. Should never have too much trouble with that. Keep going with the dough. And you'll see now it's beginning to come together really well, and it's looking really smooth and ready to go. One very useful thing about being in Singapore is things rise easily. The old bread and bakery products, if you really want to accelerate it, you can put it outside in your balcony for half an hour in the 30-degree heat, because that makes it go like mad. There we go. Now, you'll see that this is nice and smooth now. It's a really nice consistency of dough. And what we do now, I'll just put this up to the camera quite close. Now what we do is we use our mixing bowl from earlier. We stick it back in and leave that to rise for an hour. And at that time you can go do whatever you feel like doing. Now, I'm putting cling film over it. You can use cling film, or you can just use a damp tea towel. There we go. Now, if you want to add anything to it, you can add herbs, spices, olives, or whatever. You do it just before you add the water. So we're going to leave that to rise for a while. Now, and you leave that to rise until it's doubled in size. Just so happens, I have one that I did earlier here, and you see it's about doubled in size now. So, once you have your dough, it's nice and big. Sometimes in recipes they say for you to oil this bowl. It's just so you can get out a bit easier, really. So it's up to you. I don't bother usually, just because I don't see the need most of the time. But now we have our nice big dough. Stick it on there. Now, at this point you have a choice. You can either shape it into a loaf, so something like that, or we can go to rolls. So what I'm going to do is you just quickly for 5 minutes, knock it back a little bit, like that. This has been sitting around for about 45 minutes to an hour now. This one. There we go. It's really nice and smooth as well. It's always a good sign for bread. Now, what I usually do is I tend to make rolls. Now this is for two reasons. Firstly, they're easy to freeze. You can do them in little portions, and I've got one of those tiny little ovens that I bought for $30 in a Giant. So it's not very big, so it's much easier to make it into rolls rather than loaf. But if you were to make a loaf, you can just shape it like this, like that. Stick it on your baking sheet and leave it to rise. So again, you need to let it rise again for about 30 to 40 minutes before you then stick it in the oven. So that's the loaf. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm going to make some rolls. So, what we do, we just have a sharp knife here. So you make it about a circle. If you make it any low shape you want, you just cut it in half. Now, again, you can weigh your rolls if you want them to be exactly even. And I used to weigh my rolls, and then I got bored of weighing my rolls, so I stopped bothering. So you can just eyeball it like this. So the 500 grams of flour makes 8 rolls. So you just do this twice each time for each thing, like so. Then we have our 8 rolls of dough. Just bring all that together again, like so. Now, this is where I'm going to leave them to rise. I'm just going to get my baking sheet out. This is where our baking paper comes in. Let's get it off. Like that. So, like I said, you need to leave them to rise for a little bit. So I'm just going to stick them on here. Now I can only really fit 4 on. You can actually use 2 anyway. So I put 4 on there. And I'll use this bowl. 4 in there. And you want to make sure you cover them over again, just while they prove again. Just because if you don't, then they form a crust on top, and it's not very nice. You don't want that, because they go weird. Also at this point, if you feel like you want to, you can sprinkle some seeds on top to make seeded bread. That also does taste quite nice as well. So I'm just going to put them over now, just just so they don't dry out. And we'll leave that 40 minutes. Right, so here are the rolls, straight out of the oven. I've just put the other batch in, so they were sitting around for about an hour or so. It's not too much of a problem. And you can see they're a lovely golden brown colour on top, and a little bit on the bottom as well. Break it open, look at that. Lovely white roll. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a simple bread recipe. So I'm going to have one now with a bit of jam. Yum! Yum.